Hello, you beautiful people out there, and welcome to the Banner Gaming's Warcraft 11th Anniversary Look Back. Today, we're going to be quickly talking about the anniversary gifts and what we think of them and how they compare. This is Kimo.
And this is Wisdom. Today we're talking about Thunder Fury, Van Cleef, and everything we've seen up until this point. Now, some of these things are really kind of interesting. We haven't had anything like the Van Cleef costume just given to players in this way, right? The only other thing that's anything like it in the game right now is the Lich King costume that comes from I believe it's Hallow's End. And that's a hard thing to get. Not a lot of players have it, and it's got its whole host of issues. But I mean that's a different conversation. But we've seen some interesting things this year. There are a lot of people who, in light of what happened last year, are not too happy about what's going on now. But then there's plenty of other people who, thinking back, they are seeing how what we're getting this year on a really substantial anniversary year is actually pretty big relative to what we've seen in the past.
Now, I'm just going to remind everybody that for most years, all you got is a rep buff and an achievement and an XP buff based on the year. So ninth year, 9% rep and XP buff. Eighth year, 8% in XP buff. And comparing anything to the 10-year anniversary is kind of hard because even for me personally, I got a statue delivered to me from Blizzard. So regardless of what goes on in game, they're not going to be able to top that for me when they send you a personal heavy statue for being a subscriber for 10 years. Now, some years you got a pet, some end with the buff, but the last couple years has been less than overwhelming. So if you talk about it in context of 10-year aside, they gave us, wands that we can turn people into gnolls and warlocks. They gave us a costume. They gave us the rep buff normally, an inflatable Thunder Fury, all things that touch on everybody's nostalgia button, which I think is what they're aiming for a gift for the anniversary of Warcraft.
Now, I think that is a pretty relevant point. It does get at a lot of players' nostalgia, but I don't think it gets at everybody's, which is a part of why we're seeing the reaction in the community that we are. For me personally, I never got my hands on Thunder Fury. I didn't think it was a particularly pretty looking weapon. I wasn't playing even when it was relevant. And, up until I have been playing more recently, we've been seeing inflatable Thunder Furies around. I've only really seen it as the cliche trade chat spam. So to me, it's not anything special. And given, how into cosmetics I am and those kinds of rewards, I don't really ever see myself using it. I mean, I used it once on one character for the achievement. I'm not going to be using it again. I may have actually deleted it off my alts. I don't remember. Similarly, the Van Cleef costume, it covers up some of the rewards I've worked really hard to get my hands on. So it doesn't really do anything for me personally. Similarly, the wands, I'm not interested in those kinds of things. So all around, for me as a player, I can understand why people are upset because it doesn't get the nostalgia for me. It doesn't get me interested. And what the rewards have to offer actually sort of counteract parts of why I'm interested in the game. And for someone who,
Well, I think that we have a couple, members of our guild that we can both agree on that would love this. Like Ben, he would play with those wands and have fun during raids, and he would enjoy this into Kingdom Come. We have people who turned ourselves into Lich Kings and prism everybody and like to, troll during fun raid nights and just make us all have a Lich King look while we're killing bosses. I think, as far as compared to other years, not counting the 10th, that's my disclaimer for pretty much all of my opinions in this video. Um, I think the effort put in though is appreciated. I mean, do you appreciate the effort like that they put in, Wisdom, regardless of how you personally feel about it?
yeah, I can recognize that it is something special and it took somebody some time and, they integrated these special achievements into the game. And it does make the anniversary something to log in for. But I don't think that it's enough effort to justify resubscribing or anything like that. It's something that people get along the way, and I'm sure that there are plenty of people who appreciate it. I don't deny that Ben would be somebody who would be interested in what this has to offer, and I think he actually did make an exception just to get his hands on it. But generally speaking, I don't think that it's enough to, it's not a content patch, it's not anything that adds longevity to the game. It's just something fun and special. And if they really wanted to
Let me
sell,
blow your mind. Let me blow your mind now. I just thought of this. Now, there is two possibilities. One, Blizzard is aware that their fans are upset and they're trying to give, show a good faith. The Moose Mount, good anniversary gifts. They're showing, hey, listen, kind of like that South Park episode. We're sorry. We're sorry. but without physically saying they messed up. However, if I put on my evil Blizzard hat and I'm like Dr. Evil in his basement, petting my evil cat, think about it like this. Upon the announcement of the Legion expansion, a lot of people generally resubscribe. At least that's what trends have shown. Now you have everybody resubscribing, and now Warcraft is implanting this nostalgia bubble with everybody. So they got a bunch of new subscribers, and now they log in, and people who are old school are reminded of Thunder Fury, reminded of the Gnolls and Morlocks. They're reminded of the Van Cleef times going down their first dungeon, taking down their big boss. So they have the Legion excitement that's bringing people, and then as soon as people log in and resubscribe, they're reminded of all of the reasons that they love Warcraft or have loved Warcraft. Now, for me personally, would love these items if instead of like 50 charges, it would be can only use during Warcraft anniversaries. Because I like stuff that's forever. So having something that once you use is going to go away doesn't, regardless of the nostalgia button it does hit for me, doesn't make me very excited. But if it was like, you could use this 50 times every WoW anniversary, then I think this would be an amazing, amazing gift and something fun I can keep in my bank because we're going to need our banks for something once the transmog systems come out that we can keep and just play with on every expansion or every
You know,
anniversary.
that is an interesting idea. I am inclined to just generally sort of take the opposite approach. I like things that are available temporarily, right? That's why I know that a lot of people don't like that some of the old challenge mode rewards aren't obtainable, and I'm sure that it's maybe getting old for some people, but that it is a limited time deal is one of the appeals to me, right? Being able to see who did their content or at least who bought a carry when that stuff was relevant and who was playing then and what characters were around then, that is it shows who was paying attention and who was logged in and, who was putting in some effort, whether it's to make the gold or actually do it yourself. Now, for something like this, I think it does the same effect, right? If the Van Cleef costume is never put in any other way, then you'll only ever see people who were playing during the 11th anniversary actually running around with it.
But it would be really awesome if they could run around with it every anniversary. I just don't like things that end, and that makes me never want to use the item, which makes me never actually have fun with the item. That's just a personal thing.
I think you're getting into the Skyrim effect where, you never want to use those potions until, you're carrying around 400 pounds of them. But either way, I mean, I think that we're not going to see a whole bunch of these things. I don't think that there are many people who use this kind of a thing on cooldown or something like that. I think that we will see these around for quite some time.
I think, and in the end, I think it was a great anniversary gift from Blizzard, being it's not a 5, 10, 15-year kind of anniversary gift.
Yeah, I think that they did put in some effort, and I do think that it shows. It's more than just have an XP and rep buff. But I think that I maybe would have appreciated it more if they'd gone back to their 4th and 5th anniversary trend of handing out pets and things like that, and actually bypass the XP and rep buff altogether. Because for anybody who plays with any kind of consistency, that's generally not super valuable. You work on the reps as they come out, you get your characters up to cap shortly after the expansion is released, those kinds of things. And it's not going to make a big difference. I mean, even a 10, 11% XP buff, that's not going to make too much of a difference in the long run. I mean, that's just a couple pieces of heirloom gear. So,
Yep. Well, thank you for listening to the Banner Gaming's video on the Warcraft 11th anniversary. Please like, comment, and subscribe below. And if you like the art, please take a look at our wonderful artist page below. This is Kimo.
And I've been Wisdom. Let us know down below how you liked this expansion. Was Inflatable Thunder Fury something that really got your attention, or did it not live up to your hopes? Thank you all for watching, and have a good night.
Bye-bye.